Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I think I want to do this episode slightly different. I think I want to kind of like cover the highlights of the day, the things that I think are important. What I'm roughly using to decide what's important or not is just fundamental things, things that I think would influence an overall uh, decision in how you're going to handle your crypto. And I really, of course, want to help you make the most of this. I think once in a lifetime chance of returns on investment with this crypto, and it's hard. Well, so I think I'm going to go through the news, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to try to, and I think I might try doing my videos this way. I'm going to try to go over some basic resource specifically for helping you guys take advantage of this to the max. And I think I'm actually going to go over Coinmarketcap.com and just some of the very useful tools and things that Coinmarketcap presents and offers. And I think it's just one of the if you're getting into this, understanding these really simple things with Coinmarketcap is probably really going to help you. So at the end of this video, I'm going to cover that. As always, let's talk about the CoinMarketCap, our total amount of money in crypto right now. Here it is with the 7-day. This is all crypto, graph for all crypto. You can see we are at an all-time high. We're getting close to $800 billion. That is so incredible. And it's incredible to me because I've been in this long enough that I would have never thought that was possible. And just watching it break these all-time highs, even though at the same time being in it and seeing the history and seeing it blow my mind so many times is it's not surprising, but it's cool. Anyway, another thing I want to focus on here is part of the reason why I start my videos with this is basically because we've been in a sort of a dip for Bitcoin, and I'm seeing for a number of reasons, both like I see news-wise, fundamentally when it comes to the actual world and looking out there at what's happening, I see the potential for this year money coming into Bitcoin from Wall Street, big money, hedge fund type things. Billionaires are creating funds specifically to focus on crypto. Some of these funds have started. Like the last video, I think it was the last video I talked about Peter Thiel and his I don't know what you call it, hedge fund of sorts. I don't know if it's technically a hedge fund, but excuse me. He's already put some money in, but he's got this fund created, and we had futures, which opened up in December. Interesting thing about futures, by the way, is they're only indirectly related to Bitcoin, even though they're Bitcoin futures, because they're only indirectly, the futures themselves do not, to buy a future, you are not necessarily buying Bitcoin. So they're a right step in the right direction, a good step in the right direction. They are a sign that Wall Street and big money is recognizing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And later this year, there are other funds from Wall Street and other things coming into the space, ideally bringing in more focus and, even more importantly, more money into Bitcoin. And that is like a big picture reason why I think I'm still, even though after these incredible this incredible run last year where Bitcoin went up over 13 from January to December, over 1,300%, 1,300% roughly. I still think it's got more in it, and that's one of the reasons why. But I also want to talk about these two graphs here, and one of the reasons why I talk about them is, like I said, Bitcoin is in a dip, and historically, when Bitcoin dips or when Bitcoin holds, I attribute it to a psychological phenomenon of sorts. People get bored, and that's part of it. I think people get bored and they're so used to getting such incredible returns. If Bitcoin isn't instantly giving them returns, they turn to alt currencies, and try to make their quick money there. But when Bitcoin starts taking off, people jump back on the Bitcoin train. And another thing I want to say is a lot of traders are really, I think a lot of traders are ultimately trying to get a USD value. I'm assuming that's what I want, and that's what I assume. I don't know. We'll get to that later. I think USD value does matter, but a lot of people are trading trying to get more Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one that they have the most confidence in, the one they think, is going to be here forever, and it's what the world really looks at when they see crypto. The first thing that's in their face is Bitcoin, and really that's what a lot of people end up, getting huge gains, selling those and holding Bitcoin. It tends to come back to Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin's taking off here, alts have had an incredible run, incredible, and relative to index funds, I'll just say. And if Bitcoin takes off, those alt currencies money, there's a chance, historically speaking, this is what often happens. It kind of leaves them and goes back into Bitcoin. And I can tell you, as the Bitcoin price goes up, the ratio for, if you're whatever random currency you have, I'll say trig. If your trig token will be proportionately less Bitcoin, and it may hold the same USD value, the same dollar value, but it'll be worth less in Bitcoin. And a lot of people, their goal is to get more Bitcoin. Whether or not that should be the goal, I'm honestly not 100% sure. A lot of wise, respectable people in the space, in my opinion, say that should be your goal. I think there's two sides to that. But anyway, so I'm warning this, probably overemphasizing a very simple point. There's a chance that when Bitcoin takes off, the alt currencies are going to dip and go back into Bitcoin. So practical thought on that: if you're holding alt currencies that you do not believe in, that you're just holding because you think they might pump, I would reevaluate them and consider following that trend and putting it into Bitcoin if you think Bitcoin is going to take off. If I try not to buy alt currencies that way, I try to be holding alt currencies. Once I buy, I tend to not want to sell until I'm never going to buy again, kind of like, like I'm holding them for the long haul, and I'm prepared to watch them drop, at least drop proportionate to in the ratio of what their Bitcoin value is. I'm prepared to see them drop and hold on to my Bitcoin. That's part of like a diversified portfolio. Is when one does well, the other one, may do worse. But anyway, a lot of people right now, though, are selling all of their alts and going over to Bitcoin, hoping to catch the trend before it really takes off. And I just want you guys to be aware of that and make the best decision from that. Okay, let's see here. I don't want to talk about that quite yet. Let's see here. I thought this was pretty interesting. I follow this guy on Twitter, and I've said this before, but I want to make a intro to Bitcoin guide of sorts, and I want to put who I think are some of the people to pay attention to on Twitter on there, because I think they're such an incredible resource. And I never really used Twitter much before crypto, and now I just for things like this, it is such a useful tool if you can find the right people to pay attention to. But Crypto Horn Harris is a guy I would recommend following. And I'm just going to read this, but it says, how to spot the end beginning of alt season. Go to Coinmarketcap.com, click on BTC dominance, observe the trend. BTC percent of market downtrend equals alt up. So if Bitcoin, kind of like I'm saying, if Bitcoin's going down or flattening, alts tend to go up. And when the trend shows signs of reversals, begin derishing bags, I don't know that word, hedging into Bitcoin, shorting alts. So he's basically saying, which is exactly what I'm saying. I just think it's interesting because he is charting, basically using technical analysis of sorts on the total market cap for Bitcoin versus altcoins. And by the way, just to be clear here, I didn't scroll all the way down, but that graph I believe that he's looking at is right here, and it's just the percentage of, yeah, like it says, it's a total market capitalization of Bitcoin. So it's what percentage, orange is Bitcoin, what percentage of all the alts Bitcoin is, and you can see we are about ready to we're starting back up again, and you can see already, like, look how the alts are going down, and you can kind of see that here as the total amount of money in crypto is slowly going up, the alt currencies are actually going down. So so that's what he's saying there. Another thing that I thought was worth mentioning is Bittrex has been a fairly common exchange. It's one of the biggest exchanges where the most volume has gone through. And I just want to say that there are 3 currencies that I know of that I believe January 12th, you won't be able to trade anymore on Bittrex, and I think you want to get your coins off there if you can. And I just want to make sure that this has gone out. Like I mentioned Trig just a little bit ago as an example. Trig, DGD, and Metal and MTL, I know are moving. Their wallets are, I don't know if he has a picture of it. Okay, so he's got the following markets will be removed January 12th. There you go. So if you have it on there, you might want to move it. I moved a lot of mine to Binance, and I don't know. I like Binance and I like KuCoin. I've said this before. I think those are 2 good exchanges. Binance right now, if you are new, I do not believe they are allowing any new people to sign up, and for that reason, I would recommend KuCoin. I have affiliate links below to either of those if you would want to sign up. Same for Coinbase. Anyway, another thing in the news that happened today is Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, owner of Facebook, said that I don't know if he's technically the owner. He's the CEO. He said that basically he's considering blockchain, and it's not really a commitment or anything like that, but it's just in the news. Thought it was worth mentioning. It wasn't very concrete, so I don't know if this is actually happening, but everyone's talking about it. So another thing is in Texas, there's a BitConnect cease and desist marketing securities, and basically, if you live in Texas, you won't be able to use BitConnect. I believe you can withdraw your funds, but no new users from Texas to BitConnect. If you don't know what BitConnect is, it's basically a lot of people call it a pyramid scheme. It is a place they say you can lend your money to them, and a bot, and I think mining, they'll give you essentially about a 1% return per day. And anyone that knows anything about compound interest, 1% a day, while that sounds small, adds up extremely quickly. And it's I don't know. A lot of people gamble. I have a BitConnect account. Put enough money in that I was okay with totally losing, and I've got my investment out, and it's been okay. I do not recommend it. There is another BitConnect exchange, it appears, in the works. BitConnect X, I believe, and they're having an ICO. But I'll be really, it's something that catches my eye. It's a very interesting thing to be curious about. It is here one of the top, well, relatively number 24 here. $2.4 billion in the coins of BitConnect, which is just crazy. But what's next here? Okay, so I wanted to go over Tonebase again. His live chart that I've been using has been removed. Essentially, the triangle, we popped out of it like he thought, and but I do want to go back to him here. He's another guy I think it's worth following on Twitter if you can't tell, but Tonebase is his Twitter handle. He says, update, if you guys thought I was Bitcoin bullish yesterday, that was nothing. BTC USD looks amazing. Weekly, 5 of 9. If we get a 6 next week, sky's the limit. Daily, 4 of 9. Short-term top Wednesday. Eventual target at 24,500, obviously past all-time highs. 4 hour, 6 of 9, target 17,200, and 1 hour, 2 of 9. So let's look here at his charts and try to make sense of them. I have not looked at these yet, so let's see what we got here. Bitcoin dollar, 240. Bitfinex, the 4 hour is on a 6 of a 9. Okay, so I'm not really sure. This might be a time where I'm getting into too much specifics, but generally a 9 or a 13 means reversal. So if we're going up, then a 9 typically means we're going to go down. If we're going down, then a 9 typically means we're going to go up. So the 4 hour is on a 6 of a 9 and a huge cup and handle target. And so just to explain the cup and handle, this is all technical analysis stuff. More or less is exactly what this is drawn. Typically you'd have a price coming up, and then you'd have price dip and a big old dip, and then a little dip, and possibly another little tiny little dude, and then way up. If we were to zoom out on Bitcoin right now, we might be forming a cup and handle. That would basically be our all-time high of 20,000, and we reach 20,000 again. We'll probably come down, and I believe we're going to go up. I think that's what he means by that. And and he's saying 4 hours on a 6 of a 9 because I think he's saying that we've got a couple more hours before we have a reversal. So we're most likely going to break some resistance in it, I think. So let's look here. What else has he got on here? Bitcoin dollar on Bitstamp. High point of flagpole. Okay, so he's basically saying, what does he literally say? The 1 hour is on a 2 of 9, plenty of upside with bullish pennant. Okay, so I believe this is a bullish pennant, as you can probably see right here. I'm sorry that I can't put my mouse over this without it. Let's see if I can. Can I get this to go up any higher? I think it's just going to cover it up no matter what I do. Okay, so basically a bullish pennant it's kind of like, you think of it like a flag, and we have price action bouncing up and down within the flag, and then our typically our breakout is the same size-ish as the price breakout for the pull of the flag. Essentially is kind of what this is showing. And like we have a nice pennant or flag showing right here, and it's looking like we might have a flag pull of a sense breaking out. It might be this big, so you could roughly, and he's got a 9 here, so it's the same thing. Typically we have 9 before we have the 9, we'd have time between, so we've got a couple hours at least of upside most likely before we have a reversal in price. And let's look here. Another thing, for what it's worth, you generally pay the most attention to the longest time frames. So if you're looking at day is like the least worth paying attention to, 4 hour would be better, and then a day would be best. Like if a day is representing something, that's the one that you might want to pay the most attention to. But within that day, it's useful if you're trading like hourly or something. You want to make an in and out trade quickly, or you want to make try to find the most optimum entry or exit. Then that's when you would most likely want to pay attention to the hourly. But let's read here. So here's the daily. It says daily is on a 4 of 9. So look for a 5 more days of upside at least. For 5 more, sorry. Daily is on a 4 of 9, so looking for 5 more days of upside at least. So 5 more days of upside. So that's a good thing. What else has he got going on here? It says double tops are unicorns. Expect all-time high soon. That's awesome. So a double top, just realize, is when the price goes up, hits the top, and it comes down, hits the top again, fails to break, comes back down, and it's a very bearish. For what it's worth, the way I remember bulls and bearish is bulls have horns that point up. That means price is going up. If it's bullish, price is going up. Bears have claws which point down. If it's bearish, it's down. So for whatever that's worth, that's how I remember those. But if it hits and then it bounces back down, I'm not 100% sure how far it has to go down, but a significant down, it's more likely that it's going to go extra far down. I know this is very subjective terms I'm talking in, but that's why he's mentioning double top, is if it bounces back and doesn't break the second time, it can mean that we're really going down. And so he's just saying he doubts it's going to happen. So let's see here. Bitcoin dollar with Bitstamp back to original buy long. I think he's saying right here. I'm not sure what time frame that is. That could be the daily. I think he's just doing this daily on another. So this is Bitstamp. This is Bittrex. So I think he's saying that we want to break the. We want to break this support level. That's what he's saying. I'm just going to say that for us to go up. And anyway, so there's some basic technical analysis for you. Hopefully that was helpful. But let's go back and let's look at it ourselves here, if I can. So basically how I do this is I go to, there's a lot of places you can get charts from. I'm not even logged in here. This is tradingview.com. You can go up here. You can type in BTC, and then you could do USD, which is probably going to be like Coinbase here. So let's just do that. Here's Coinbase's chart. And let's look and see what we got here. So this is the 4-hour chart. We're right at resistance, where you can see in the past, we broke past this, which is beautiful. We've got some resistance, and resistance is one of the sayings when it comes to charting is when you don't know what to do, look left. And so we're looking left, and we're seeing that around this level, Bitcoin has stayed at this level a lot in the past, and it's likely that it's going to be a hard point for it to break past. And that's the extremely simplified answer. And then another thing, how you can tell certainty and general interest of a certain price is down here with volume. This is essentially how much Bitcoin, actually, is it Bitcoin or USD? How much Bitcoin, I believe, is being traded at each particular price. So you can see through here, there wasn't a ton of interest. Our volume relative to this was so low, and yet as price is going up here, the volume is picking up, and if that's a bullish sign that we're probably going higher. We might, bounce around a little bit, but as long as our volume is high, that's a good sign. That's just that's just a basic stuff to look at. Seeing support here, and it's reasonable that we're going to have a hard time breaking past our all-time highs here. And I'm not sure if I want to say anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Okay, let's go back to, I wanted to talk about Coinmarketcap.com. This is basically, I'm going to end the video. Just want to talk about some of the useful tools here. So obviously we've got the CoinMarketCap, the crypto market cap. The total amount of money going in is worth paying attention to see if more money is coming in. If your coin's going down, is it because the whole there's money in crypto period leaving, or is your coin going down when money's coming in? You can make your own conclusions, and it's really macro stuff to just pay attention to, and can help you trade. Obviously, we've got our cryptos here listed by market cap. You can, I believe, click on these and organize by other methods as well. I think doing it by market cap is very useful. Let's see here. So you can search if you hear about a crypto and you want to find out like where does it rank on here, like how much money is in this coin, how much recognition does it have. You can just start typing it in and click on it. It'll bring that coin up. Very useful. Another thing is, like, if we go to, let's just click a random one. Let's do Augur. Let's do Komodo. So if you click on it, it'll bring up a basic graph. It's pretty useful too, in my opinion, because it lists the price in Bitcoin, which is the orange, and then it also lists the price in USD, which is in green, and it's got the volume down at the bottom, and the blue is the market cap, which I believe is in USD, so it should follow very, very closely to the green. Let's see here. So that's one thing. And if we go to markets, so if you hear about a new coin, you can find out like how much money or how big of a coin is it by just simply looking right here. Then you can go, okay, you know, we've heard good things about it. You think it's worth buying into for whatever reason. You can go here in markets, and it'll tell you all the exchanges that that coin is sold at, and that is extremely useful. You can click on social, and they'll probably give you a I guess they might give you some info right here, just on where you can find out more information on their social media. Let's see here. I don't use this other stuff much. I guess it'll tell you the total volume by day. It's kind of like I think this chart also does that in a graphical format. I guess that's just a numerical. But anyway, that is actually, I think, find this page really useful for just you know, where do I buy coins? You know, how big are they? You know, relative to the past, how, you know, expensive are they? Are they in a dip now or not? Just like briefly, you can find that information out really quickly. It's also like, since a lot of these coins you're going to have to use Bitcoin to buy, the dollar amount is not always easy to calculate, and you know, if it's lost a lot relative to Bitcoin recently, has its USD value stayed level? Sometimes those are just good things to know. And I think that Coinmarketcap.com, there's other sites like this out there. I think this is the most popular, but Coinmarketcap.com helps. Another thing that's useful here is when you go to markets, it will tell you the volume that is being traded by at each exchange. Generally speaking, you want to go to an exchange that has a lot of volume. Generally speaking, Bittrex has had a lot of volume. Just as a rule of thumb, Bittrex and Binance is gaining popularity very quickly. But for this particular coin, you can see that the most volume has been traded on for Komodo on Bittrex. But anyway, I think that's extremely quick, basic rundown on CoinMarketCap.com. I think that's all I'm going to end the video today. Good luck on your trading. Hopefully this is helpful. Give it a like, and if there's questions you guys have, let me know. I want to answer them, and I appreciate you watching this, and I hope you have a great day. I will talk to you